It's time, Michael, for a bloodied repaint. Here's your look at the NECA Toys Toony Terrors Halloween 2 Michael Myers. Bring the fun of Saturday morning cartoons to your horror collection with these adorable little creeps. Pick your favorites or collect them all and make every day Toony Terror time. Betting it's about that time. Toony Terror time to have a look at some more Toony Terrors from the folks over at NECA Toys. Before we get a closer look at the bloody variant of Michael Myers, the first thing we're going to want to do is take the tape measure right to the very top of his head. I'd like to as well thank the folks over at NECA Toys that provide the sample of the bloody variants of Michael Myers that we could have a look at in this review. Before we digest all the details on this figure, let me just break this down to you that Michael Myers stands 5.9 inches in height. Let's quickly switch that over to centimeters, revealing that Toony Terrors Michael Myers is 15 centimeters tall. Pretty sure the comparison you guys will want to see is how Michael Myers looks like next to his regular release. So let's go ahead and move over the bloodied Michael Myers, and we'll bring in the original Michael Myers so you guys can see the difference between the two. In this case, obviously, it's just cosmetic. They're just using the same mold, just the colors are a little bit different from one to the other. Let's do some other size comparisons. Certainly while we're at it, we can bring in the recently looked at Grady twins. Why don't we also bring in Leatherface? Just sort of pulling it from my tickle trunk. We can also bring in Sam, another Halloween icon. Just get him to actually stand in the middle. We can bring in Jason Voorhees. I don't seem to bring him in nearly enough. And when we also bring in Hatchets, Victor Crowley, we'll just sort of put him in the background to kind of give you guys an idea of how the bloodied Michael Myers stacks up and slashes his way when you have him displayed with some of the other Toony Terror figure releases. Rest assured, though, we will be bringing that original Michael Myers back into this review so we can do some further comparisons with the two figures. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the accessories that come included with the bloodied variant. Starting first, Michael Myers comes with a butcher knife. Ooh, somebody's been slicing marinara. No, I'm sure it's actually blood. The knife actually is rather different than the one that we got before, reaching off to the side and bringing in the original knife. While the handles are definitely the same, getting the two lined up so you guys can see the difference. While the handles are definitely the same, the blade actually on the bloodied variants is much more simple. Simple, at least in the sense that the main color for the blade is actually just kind of this light gray. Whereas the original Michael Myers, and actually many of the Toony Terrors, went this route of going with a darker colored, almost blue colored plastic, and then they would add reflection on the blade itself. Still kind of like this look, but I will welcome the idea of adding some much needed blood to the blade of Michael Myers, and that is certainly a nice touch. You can take the blade though, and it fits into his hand, although it only fits in one of his hand. This flat hand is more so for asking for change. You can twist the hand around, and yes, Michael Myers can ask for change. But there's a hole located around the top, and you can either do the knife one of two things. You can have it fit in the top, and you can have Michael Myers holding it this way. Let's turn his hand back around. Or the preferred look, at least for me, is you can have the blade upside down. Michael's all about doing that. And you can have it displayed like this as well. Sorry, what? You're going to have to speak up. There's Briscoe over on the table. No, that wasn't your question? Does the other blade... Oh, sorry. Does the other blade fit into his hand? Well, actually, let's go ahead and remove that. Take the original Michael Myers blade and navigate it up into his hand. The handle seems almost like it's a little bit thicker, but yes, in fact, it does fit into his hand perfectly fine. Go help yourself to a brisk iced tea. You look a little hot. The other accessory that comes included with the figure, similar to the original release, is he does come included with a pumpkin. The pumpkin is a nice cartoon look, something you would expect to find maybe from the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Did they ever really wrap that series up, or were there a few episodes that never got aired? It was one of my Saturday morning staples. But the pumpkin does look rather nice. And of course, you've got that cartoon skeleton on the front you would imagine would be able to talk, voiced by Frank Welker, I'm sure. It is a nice looking pumpkin. A little bit brighter than the one we had got before, and the only reason why I'm not actually bringing that other one in is I just can't locate it. I'm really sure whereabouts I put it. But it does come included with the pumpkin as well. So really not a lot does get changed. All of, like I said, the changes are more cosmetic than anything else. Put the pumpkin over there. Picking up the figure, and let's get a closer look at Michael Myers. Halloween 2 Michael Myers with a little bit of blood. I say a little bit of blood. There's a whole lot of blood. Bring him over. Sliding the other one over so you guys can see the difference between the two. The boilers are a different color, favoring more of a very dark blue on the Halloween 2 Bloodied remake, or Bloodied repaint, I should say. The head sculpts do seem to be the same. This one does have the lighter colored hair, which I guess is pretty close. If you want to consider this to be the 78 and then this to be the Halloween 2, yeah, it works. I can buy that. This one does have definitely the streams of blood running out from his eyes. He's so sad. He does also have blood like all over his boiler as well as coveralls. One thing actually to note about the two Michael Myers when you are comparing the two side to side is not only the t-shirt on the inside is a different color, but also his skin tone is very, very visibly different as well. This one has a more lighter color of skin versus this one here has much more warmer colors going for it. I suppose there could have been an opportunity present in front of them to change the head sculpt out slightly, whereas I would consider this to be more of a 78 Michael Myers. If this does follow the pattern following up with a sequel, I probably would have slicked the hair back a little bit more, just changed that up just a little bit, so it wasn't simply just the colors that differed one Michael Myers to the other. The bodies, again, are identical to one another, making use of the same articulation. I do appreciate also the fact that blood is generous on this guy. They don't skimp on blood, whoever's blood it actually is. He has it all over, certainly on the front of his chest, and he also certainly has it on the back of his chest as well. How he manages to get blood all over his back is beyond me, but this Michael Myers likes to bathe in blood. Or at least that's what I'm guessing. Does have some nice detailing done to it. I mean, very simple in the way of construction when it comes to the articulation on the figure, which we'll talk about more so in a second. Straight out standard swivels on the shoulders, standard swivels on the legs, and he does have posability on the heads. But I mean, other than that, spinning this around so you can see them, really, again, isn't that much different from one to the other. And again, by the benefit of now getting a second Michael Myers, you can really then display them on your shelf, with one being a more 78 look and one being closer to more a Halloween 2 look. Let's go through the posability here on Halloween 2 Michael Myers with blood. His head rotates back and forth. It is actually on what seems to be a ball joint, so you can move the head up, down, back and forth, though the amount of mileage that you can actually get from the head is very little. More so you can spin it all the way around. Don't worry, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, wouldn't that kill him? You can't kill him, he's the boogeyman. His arms do move back and forth. Looks a little strange when kind of looks like he's deep in thought. I wonder what Laurie's doing right about now. Of course, the hands also do swivel back and forth as well. So if you want to have the hands kind of like this, now he's sort of seriously deep in thought. I wonder what Loomis is doing right now. You can also take this arm, rotate this all the way around, and he does also have rotations on the hands. Nice touch, by the way, ooh, that looks awkward, is the fact that they actually sculpted in fingernails. The original Michael also had that as well. When it comes to his waist, there's no articulation, although it kind of looks like he should have it. It doesn't look like he actually can swivel, and if he does, it's just super tight, so I've never really been able to move these. As for the legs go forward and back, so you can have Michael Myers sort of in a weird walking pose while he's deep in thought. And there's also no posability in his feet. At the end of the day, really, again, it's just a repaint on the original Michael Myers. Let's go ahead and get the knife in his hand. Kind of also would have been nice, too, if they made this to be really a Halloween 2 Michael Myers, to give him some other weapon other than just the straight-out stock knife. But still, though, when you are displaying these pieces on display, let's go ahead and grab the 78, put the knife in his hand. You know what, we'll put the knife the opposite way, because we're all about variety here. There we go. When you put them on display, there is enough going on different from one to the other. The paint certainly is the one thing, the one contributing factor to having the Michaels look different from one another. But again, it's also the fact that they included the blood trickling down his eyes. And that's always a nice touch as well. Certainly it would be painful for Michael Myers, but something that we as the collectors can enjoy when we have the two Michael Myers displayed on our shelves. I wonder what Loomis is doing right about now. Probably igniting, I'm sure, some gas inside of a hospital room. That's probably not something that you really want to do. They usually would put up signs that say, don't ignite the gas, but they just assume people probably wouldn't be stupid enough to do that. You know, speaking of Michael Myers here, we do have now two Michael Myers from the Toony Terrors collection. And again, essentially, this is just a repaint of the original one. But there's enough going on here, different from one to the other, that I feel still worthy of pickup. I would even phone this the third time around and maybe give us a Toony Terrors Ben Tramer. Is that too soon? Crispy Ben Tramer could certainly be released as a Toony Terrors, making use of the same mold that they've released already with the two Michael Myers before that. Ben Tramer. Would anybody be interested in a Ben Tramer Toony Terrors? Probably I'm the only one. This one definitely, I think, could have afforded a different accessory. Probably just something just to mix it up a little even further. Maybe give him the scalpel that he could have held in his hand, or just something different. Maybe even the hammer. That would have been a nice touch as well. But no, you get stock Michael Myers, colored differently, and then the blood, of course, trickling out from his eyes, welcoming, of course, a brand new repaint that you can then add to your collection. I like this one. I don't know if I like this one as much as I like the original one, because the original is clean and pristine. I kind of like my Michael Myers to not have blood all over his body. But this one at least has a darker coverall. So it's not simply just a blue coverall and then they just splattered blood at it. No, they did darken the coverall, and I certainly appreciate the fact that they did. A big thank you again to the folks over at NECA Toys that provide the sample of Toony Terrors Halloween 2's Michael Myers. I wonder what Loomis is doing right now. I wonder what Ben Tramer is doing. Oh yeah, Ben Tramer got hit by a car and he's on fire. It's too soon. It's way too soon. If you guys are new to this channel, enjoying all the content you see, loving the fact that we're also doing some Toony Terrors, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell notification on. And yes, make sure that you come back to this channel on a regular basis, because there's always going to be new content popping up. We are going to be having a look, just FYI, just between you and me. The little birdie whispered in my ear that we are going to be looking at some more Toony Terror reviews, and we are also going to be looking at some more NECA reviews. Yay, says the person in the back of the audience. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're welcomed. Hooray. Makes me feel good inside. Lots of stuff coming your way, guys. So as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.